Turnpike Sports is brought to you by Drizzly, your online liquor store. Available in over 95 cities across North America, Drizzly offers a huge selection and competitive pricing with a side of personalized content. Now there's no need to leave the house. Get alcohol delivered in less than an hour by Drizzly. Head on over to drizzly.com and order today. And now get $5 off your first order of $20 or more when using promo code DRINK19 at checkout. Shop beer, wine, and liquor with drizzly.com. Welcome to Turnpike Sports. I'm Dave Weishuttle, and as always, I'm joined by my producer and co-host, Doug Weishuttle. Doug, I am loving playoff hockey. I love the fact that Montreal Canadiens are in it. I love the fact that the Tampa Bay Lightning have made it, and they're making it a great series.
You know, I have to admit, playoff hockey is not only fun to watch, but it's also fun to bet on.
Absolutely.
And, I'm not a huge hockey fan. I'll be right up front with everybody there. But I have been enjoying playoff hockey. I always enjoy playoff hockey. I can't watch regular season hockey. I don't know why that is. It's almost getting to the point where even basketball is getting that way too, because you really don't see good basketball into the playoffs now.
Yeah.
Same thing with hockey. It seems to be a lot faster, a lot more hard-hitting in the playoff section of the season for hockey. And it's fun to bet on too.
And talking about a sport that's fun to bet on, I'm loving betting on NASCAR, and that's why we're so excited that our guest this week is the managing director of sports betting for NASCAR, Joseph Solosky, and he's going to talk all about NASCAR and the great stuff they're doing.
No, NASCAR has been exploding lately.
Absolutely.
A lot, not only just for the racing, but also the sports betting, the fantasy. As a matter of fact, congratulations to everyone at NASCAR, Joe and everybody else he works with over at the Racing League. They were just named Sports Business Journal's Sports League of the Year.
They're great, doing great things for their fans. I mean, we're talking about fantasy, we have sports betting. There's a lot of free games that NASCAR is offering for their fans. So it's a great sport, and it's amazing to see what they're doing for their fans.
It's also going to be fun to listen to Joe and see exactly where NASCAR is planning on taking it. They're also involved in the American Gaming Association's responsible gaming program as well. So fun interview.
Yep. And speaking of fun, we have a new segment we're debuting this week. It's called Beatin' the House. And
this is a segment that we are celebrating the men and women who have defied the odds and won a jackpot or two at the casinos.
Yep.
Whether it's online or in brick and mortar.
Yep. We're going to celebrate the winners and the ones who defied the odds and beating the house. And also, later on, we're going to have a Turnpike Sports Book Report where we talk about what's going on in the sports books across the country. It's been a busy week in sports, so let's take a trip down the Turnpike. Today's trip down the Turnpike is brought to you by Drizzly, your online liquor store. Available in over 95 cities across North America, Drizzly offers a huge selection and competitive pricing with a side of personalized content. Now there's no need to leave the house. Get alcohol delivered in less than an hour by Drizzly. Head on over to drizzly.com and order today. And now get $5 off your first order of $20 or more when using our promo code DRINK19 at checkout. Shop beer, wine, and liquor with drizzly.com.
Exit 1.
All right, first exit. You know, we've always been kind of making fun of the table tennis betting industry.
In Colorado, it's huge betting. There's a lot of betting in Colorado on table tennis. What is it, number 6 again this month?
It was technically the fourth sport in Colorado.
Most bet on?
Most bet on in handle. But in terms of categories, the sixth most bet. But yeah, it was the fourth most bet on sport in Colorado. Oregon's got a huge table tennis population for betting. But
Look, I'm not going to talk because there's going to be a lot of betting these next couple of weeks on the Nathan's hot dog eating contest.
Yep.
So talking about things that are out of the ordinary for betting, I'm sure the East Coast is going to have something in the next couple of weeks.
Well, we may have another new sport coming to the betting industry.
All right.
Beach volleyball.
Beach volleyball. All right.
Now, this is overseas right now.
Okay.
The sports and esports betting provider Better, BETER, has just launched beach volleyball as an offering to their sportsbook clients.
So right now in the U.S., you cannot bet on beach volleyball.
No.
Okay.
It may be coming soon.
Coming soon.
This is going to be, before we get into what they're going to be offering, this is going to be run through the Setka Cup. Now, Setka Cup, it's an international sports platform that does non-commercial and commercial tournaments, and they also do developmental leagues for tennis, table tennis, and volleyball.
Okay.
Now, they have gone ahead and started running this Setka Cup beach volleyball tournament. They're held every day, 7 days a week, from 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern Time during the weekdays, and on the weekends it's 8 a.m. to 9 p.m. Now,
so
this is 7 hours ahead of us, though. In Eastern Time, it's 7 a.m. But 7 hours ahead, that's when they start. It's on you do the time zone difference.
Now, can I watch this somewhere, or do I have to go to their website? Do they have a like a Roku or an Apple channel that I can go to?
You'd have to go to Setka Cup to check out where to watch it.
All right.
Setka Cup tournaments are available at sportsbooks in 150 different countries right now.
Okay.
And they get 13 million views per month. So what they're doing here...
It seems like it should be bet on in the U.S. I mean, if it's an established sport that's being bet on around the world, you would think you'd do it.
This is what Better's going to have. They're going to have... There's 16 matches every day. And it's 2-on-2 beach volleyball. Just like you see on TV, the 2-on-2 beach volleyballs.
Yep.
So there's going to be over about 450 events every month.
Wow, okay.
And Better had gone through a testing phase to see how this would do in terms of, how it would play out for betting and everything. And they said it passed with flying colors as a new sport to be bet on for them. So they did this deal with the Setka Cup, and they're going to be offering it to all their sportsbook clients. And you're going to see over 150 players, beginners and experts, or masters, however they want to phrase themselves.
Masters? Do they call themselves masters? All right, masters. The only sport I hear masters is chess. So it's Masters Beach Volleyball.
Yes, and they're going to have, also they're going to have beginners too.
Okay,
and they're going to group them according to skill. So you're not going to have some expert playing a beginner at any way, shape, or form. I guess they're going to break them up into divisions, so people can actually see a competitive match each time. So we're going to see 450 matches per month of beach volleyball. I'm just curious to see how long it takes the United States to put this on their sports betting events list.
Yeah, I would think pretty soon. I mean, like I said, it's an established sport that's being bet on around the world. You would think that the U.S. would jump on it.
Well, it hasn't been started to bet yet. They just announced this deal.
All right.
So they're going to be doing the live streaming. Better is going to be doing the live streaming, the live data, and odds.
Okay.
For the over 400 events daily.
But I'm definitely going to check it out. Setka, Setka. So I want to
Cup tournaments.
I'll Google it.
Exit 2.
Okay, we're going to talk big-time esports on a tiny island.
Tiny island, huh?
The Isle of Man.
Oh, okay.
33-mile-long Isle of Man.
All right.
They have one of the best esports groups in the world.
Really?
The X7 Esports Group. They made their debut in the League of Legends United Kingdom Esports League this past summer, in the Summer Open qualifiers last year. They went 10-0.
Wow, okay.
And this is a brand new group. They were just founded.
It's impressive going 10-0 and you're brand new at it.
Yeah, and I don't know too much about the Isle of Man, But what the government has initiated for the Isle of Man, they have their own government. The Isle of Man government has created this digital Isle of Man initiative, which is they're going to be investing into the esports industry on this island.
Okay.
They're going to be looking at pumping money into X7 so that they can grow, number one, as an organization. They can do scouting missions to go get players from outside the island. They can increase their tech. They can build industry, buildings and training groups and all that other, jazz associated with launching an esports team.
All right.
And I didn't even know this. The Isle of Man is known for the infamous Isle of Man TT motorcycle race.
All right. Okay. I did not know about that.
One of the most dangerous time trials in the world. 150 people have died during its 114-year history.
Wow. All right.
So they are now known for a death-daring motorcycle race.
And now esports.
They're going to be known for esports.
All right.
So X7 Esports, congratulations. You got the government backing you. You got the government banking you, too.
Yeah.
On a brand-new esports team in this island. It's nice to see something that from a country that small.
Well, look, I mean, every time I hear Isle of Man, I think of that joke from Spinal Tap where they played a concert on the Isle of Lucy. So I don't know why.
Really?
I always think every time I hear Isle of Man, I think of the Spinal Tap joke, Isle of Lucy.
Well, I actually, in looking at this story, the history, how the Isle of Man was created is interesting. It sits between England, Scotland, and Northern Ireland. Legend has it that it was created when an Irish giant threw a rock at a Scottish giant, creating the lake that separates the Isle of Man from every other solid body.
I love stories like that. That's great.
If you're a folklore buff, that is one of the best stories to create a country.
Exit 3.
Moving over to, I didn't know how to phrase this, but these are, we're going to talk about some unique sponsorships or unique products here.
Okay.
Two in particular. The Professional Darts Corporation signed a new sponsor, Manscaped.
Oh, okay. All right. I've heard of Manscaped.
They have designated Manscaped, the Professional Darts Corporation has designated Manscaped the official below-the-waist grooming partner of the PDC.
All right.
And they're going to debut at the Betfred World Match Play Championships this summer.
Oh, Betfred. I love Betfred.
Betfred is huge in the dart community.
Oh, it is? Okay.
Yeah. And the Betfred World Match Play is the second longest running televised event for darts.
So this one's actually televised on, actually.
It used to be Sky Sports, BBC Sport, something like that's going to be showing.
I asked because not Betfred, but on another sportsbook online site, they actually streamed darts. And when I was going to check it, I checked it out because I thought it was going to be like the all big produced kind of thing that you see on TV in darts. And it really wasn't. And again, this wasn't Betfred. This was another sportsbook company. They just had the picture of the dartboard and then the darts hitting the board. They didn't even show the players. So I'm glad Betfred now is involved. I'm glad it's on TV.
Betfred has always been involved with this. So.
Which is great. The production value is really great.
Well, yeah, that's what I was going to say. You're saying the production value on the dart streaming you saw was not...
on a totally different sportsbook other than Betfred, and I guess they just showed the dartboard.
Well, again, it's a matter of what you have available to stream the event.
But the Betfred World Match Play, I mean that's top of the line production value, and that's what makes watching darts fun. Because I think the one time I saw it on TV, I mean that had a huge crowd.
Yeah, that was.
This is before the pandemic when they had crowds coming in and watching the darts.
It was actually on BBC America. They were showing one of the dart events. I think this is going to be just like that.
Okay.
And I had to include the quote from the Manscaped marketing director.
All right. Okay.
There's a natural fit between the precision and accuracy required in the sport of darts and in grooming below the waist.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah. Okay. I'd agree with that.
That was his PR statement. So I guess it's a natural fit.
I guess so. Yeah.
Now let's go to the other weird one. And this is weird. Maybe it's not for people into this, but Counter-Strike Global Offensive Esports Tournament Series producer Blast Premier.
All right.
Has partnered with Bondly, which is an NFT maker. So we're going to talk a little more NFT.
Non-fungible tokens. Yeah.
They have created and have launched a chicken-themed NFT collection.
When you mean chicken-themed, what do you mean? Actual live chickens? Is that what you're talking about?
No,
or?
Images of two teams, Team Red and Team Blue.
All right.
Of characters from the game, but they are turned into chickens.
Okay.
Chicken supposedly is a unofficial mascot of the tournament.
Okay, all right. I guess
it makes sense that way. But when you first listen to it,
I can see why they're using chickens now.
Yes.
If that's okay.
They're going to be Team Red and Team Blue, 3 chickens each, three chicken character each, I should say, and each of the NFTs are going to be gamified. There's going to be some sort of a level unlocking in the NFTs when you purchase them. Or you can just collect them.
I'm learning so much about NFTs lately. I mean, I last year I don't think I've ever heard of them. Now they're all over the news.
Everyone's doing an NFT.
I guess so. Yeah,
and it's kind of a weird situation where if you turn your head once. First, it was Bitcoin and other cryptocurrency. Now you have non-fungible token NFTs. They are taking over a lot of the sports world now because every sports league, every team, you're starting to see them. I know the Nets are even looking at using NFTs down the road as currency to buy tickets to get into the games.
So the Brooklyn Nets are looking into something
Brooklyn
like
Nets,
that.
yes.
Okay,
they've been talking about it for a while.
All right,
they haven't really pulled the trigger on it because it's kind of hard to figure out how to do a ticket and also a collectible ticket for getting into a game.
Well, see, that's one of the things about nowadays. Everyone's trying to get the tickets. You have to bring your phone and you show your ticket to let you into the sporting event. But a lot of people, like myself, if I go to a game, I have a ticket, guess what? I keep the ticket. I put it in a scrapbook. I'll put it in a scrapbook, but people put it in a scrapbook.
Oh, I hold on to it.
Hold on to it? Yeah, no. I mean, but I don't know how you can do that with, you're just showing it on your phone, a barcode on your phone. So, no, it's a great idea. I mean, if you're the person who wants to collect tickets and you can't do it in a digital world, NFTs are a great way to do it.
Yep. And last on the chicken-themed NFT.
More chickens.
Users can have their choice of their favorite character as a chicken. They can collect the entire team or just hold on to their chickens until the gamification happens and they can unlock certain things during the upcoming Blast Premier series for Counter-Strike Global Offensive.
Okay.
Exit 4.
All right, we just have seen for the last couple of years, every time a casino launches something, other casinos try and compete with it. Whether it's an online casino, whether it's some kind of new restaurant concepts or whatever.
Sure.
We are now going to start seeing casino air wars. I don't mean they're going to go up in planes and fight each other.
I know. It's
price wars and package wars. We had
2 in New Jersey right now.
Yeah,
right?
we had the Hard Rock Air was announced by Hard Rock Hotel and Casino in Atlantic City.
Yep.
They're going to be doing Hard Rock Air, which is a 30-seat VIP air charter service that will go from places like Farmingdale, White Plains, Norfolk, Richmond, Baltimore, Cincinnati, Scranton, and Latrobe, all within the region of Atlantic City, Pennsylvania, Ohio, New York State, Maryland, Virginia, that sort of thing.
I like Cincinnati. I think Cincinnati is at the far west that they.
That is the farthest west they go in this. So they're going to be doing private check-in with the charter, complimentary parking at the Atlantic City International Airport, ground transportation to and from the airport to the Hard Rock Atlantic City, and also overnight accommodations at Hard Rock on the boardwalk.
Great.
Not to be outdone, we have Borgata announcing MGM Direct to Borgata.
Yeah, they're. I think they have more flights, right? And they hit more cities, right?
Well, they have the entire MGM International chain behind them with all this stuff.
Okay.
And what they have done, they've announced 75 departure cities to Atlantic City. You're talking Clearwater, Florida, Cincinnati, Ohio, Buffalo, New York, Charlotte, North Carolina, Houston, Texas, Detroit, Michigan. Pretty much wherever you see some kind of MGM property somewhere. I don't know what's in Houston, Texas for MGM, but I think there is something there that they own, whether it's a restaurant or some kind of mall or something that MGM's involved in there.
Borgata, I checked it out. I mean, I didn't see any of the prices for the Hard Rock, but Borgata's prices are not bad at all.
Well, Borgata, I think, has a better package right now, if you think about
it.
I
haven't seen too much of Hard Rocks. I haven't seen the prices for Hard Rock, but Borgata sounds pretty reasonable.
Well, they have, for Hard Rock, it's a one-night stay. It's overnight.
Okay.
Borgata, the packages start, and here are the prices. $553 per person. Round-trip airfare, round-trip ground transportation between the airport and Borgata, and 3 nights accommodations. Now, $500 for 3 nights is not bad.
Which is good. I haven't seen, is it 3 nights during the week? Is it 3 nights during the weekend? I don't know. We have to check it out a little closer, but that's a very reasonable price for Borgata for 3 nights stay.
Well, if you think about it, since this is VIP service,
yep,
it's got to be for the weekends, too.
Yeah, I don't know.
This isn't for ordinary, but you can't just go up and you have to qualify as a VIP to get.
Oh, really? I didn't know that. Yeah. I thought you could just book something.
No, you have to have VIP level access for this stuff. But again, they may change their minds and open that up to ordinary players. I would say they have to.
I think it,
especially after the pandemic, to get people in.
Sure.
This has got to be for everybody.
And today's trip down the Turnpike was brought to you by Drizzly, your online liquor store. Available in over 95 cities across North America, Drizzly offers a huge selection and competitive pricing with a side of personalized content. Now there's no need to leave the house. Get alcohol delivered in less than an hour by Drizzly. Head on over to drizzly.com and order today. And now get $5 off your first order of $20 or more when using our promo code DRINK19 at checkout. Shop beer, wine, and liquor with drizzly.com.
And as always, you can get in touch with Turnpike Sports by calling or texting us at 609-512-5910. That's 609-512-5910. At Turnpike Sports is the show's handle on Facebook and Twitter. At Turnpike Sports Radio is our handle on Instagram. And as always, our email address is info@turnpikesportsradio.com. And don't forget, you can listen to the show via Spotify, Amazon Music, iTunes, radio.com mobile app, as well as Stitcher and YouTube. You can also watch us on your smart TV, Roku, Amazon Fire, Apple TV. Head on over to turnpikesports.net. You'll be able to watch our video channel there.
Well, we got a great show coming up. We have our brand new segment, Beating the House, coming up. We have a Turnpike Sports book report. But coming up next, I'm going to be talking with the managing director of sports betting for NASCAR, Joseph Solosky. He's going to tell us all the great things NASCAR is doing for its fans when we come back with more Turnpike Sports.
During these difficult times, we understand how important it is to stay healthy and safe. With so many of us confined to our homes and not being able to work, we feel the financial burden more than ever. Many folks lost their jobs and businesses. Others were furloughed, and some are working from home at reduced pay. Keeping up with your bills is not easy under these circumstances. If you have credit card debt and cannot keep up with your monthly payments, we at Debt Fix Pros are here to help. Give us a call to see how we can reduce your interest rates and lower your monthly payments. Protect your credit and let us help you find a solution that fits your needs. We, your friends at Debt Fix Pros, are here to help. Let us take care of your credit card debt so you can focus on what is really important. Call for a free phone consultation at 800-919-6011. 800-919-6011. That's 800-919-6011. 800-919-6011. United we stand.
Free stuff is awesome, but free stuff that will spice up your bedroom is even better. Just go to adamandeve.com and select almost any one item for 50% off, and then we'll load on the free stuff. Just enter this very exclusive code, BABE16 at checkout, and you'll get 10 tantalizing free gifts, including a sexy item for him, a special toy for her, and a third item you'll both enjoy. And 6 extra special bonus items that are sure to rev your engine, pique your curiosity, and even blow you away. Plus, free shipping! Always sent in discreet packaging. Go to adamandeve.com now. Get 50% off plus the 10 free gifts when you enter the exclusive offer code BABE16. That's BABE16, because without it, no free stuff. That's BABE16 at adamandeve.com.
More bets, better odds at PlaySugarHouse.com. Sign up today at PlaySugarHouse.com and don't forget to use our promo code PIKE to take advantage of their first deposit match up to $250. Must be 21 years or older and in New Jersey to place a bet. Terms and conditions apply. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Welcome back to Turnpike Sports. Everyone at the radio show loves NASCAR. That's why we're so excited for this interview. With sports betting sweeping the nation, not only do NASCAR fans get the excitement of watching great races, but now we're able to bet on them in many states. And we're going to find out what NASCAR is doing in this new world of sports betting to make it fun and promote responsibility for their fans. And to tell us all about it, we have the Managing Director of Sports Betting for NASCAR, Joseph Solosky, on the line. Joe, thanks for joining us.
Hey, Dave. Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate the opportunity to be on the show.
Thank you for your time. Because I want to ask, sports betting has become a reality for all the sports leagues in this country. And I'm very curious, what is NASCAR's philosophy when it comes to sports betting, and what message do they want to give out to their fans who are thinking about putting some bets on the races?
Yeah, for sure. So our philosophy in terms of sports betting is centered all around the fan experience and fan engagement. And when we talk about fan engagement and the fan experience, it's the traditional NASCAR fan. It's the most loyal fans in all of sport, in my opinion, who go to our races, who watch our races week by week. They spend days beforehand at a race, kind of celebrating the environment, and then watching the race over the weekends. And it's increasing that experience via the vehicle of sports betting. And then it's also the fan of the traditional kind of stick and ball sports, those who may have never been to a race before or may have even never watched a race before. And the kind of the advent of sports betting and legalization of sports betting, especially on NASCAR, as our product and offering grows, it allows us to attract more fans who may not have watched a race or gone to a race to be engaged in the sport by placing a bet. So it's almost kind of like a funnel where you may be betting on NFL or NBA, and then you see NASCAR offerings that we're putting out there, and you may watch a race, and then that may get you to attend a race and then to become a fan. So more so than anything else, it's really a engagement tool and a medium that we're capitalizing on to grow our traditional fan base and our existing fan base, and then also to grow more fans and grow the sport overall.
A couple of weeks ago, I spoke with Scott Warfield, who is the president of gaming at the PGA Tour, who was at NASCAR prior to going to the PGA Tour. And I want to ask you the same question I started the interview off with him. The position of managing director of sports betting is a very new position in the world of sports, and certainly all sports leagues handle betting differently. What does your role as managing director of sports betting for NASCAR entail? I mean, what is your daily responsibility of head of sports betting for NASCAR?
Yeah, so there are a few things, and I, as you mentioned, I picked up in a great spot that Scott left me off in. And when he left for the PGA, he was in this position before I was here. And as I came on board, NASCAR really had their ducks in a row in terms of all the partnerships in place. I think in terms of day to day, when we talk about this from the beginning, integrity is first and foremost. a priority for NASCAR, not even in sports betting, but overall. As the sanctioning body, we're in charge of making the rules for the sport, making sure that, our drivers are participating within the rules as part of the competition. And that leads over to sports betting as well, right? Mm-hmm. In terms of policies on our employees betting on sports, on our drivers betting on sports. So integrity is actually the first deal that Scott and the team signed before I joined here several years ago when sports betting became legal. And then from there, it was kind of, strategizing on what are the next partnerships that we work on. So again, even before I joined, there was partnerships on the data side with BetGenius from a data supplier who's building and creating compelling markets for the sport. And then also on responsible gaming with the American Gaming Association, which I know we'll probably talk about a little bit later. A strong partnership with them. I believe we were the first league to sign a partnership with them, and you're seeing now more operators get involved with the American Gaming Association, which I'm really excited about. But when it comes to kind of where Scott left and where I picked up is really on the operator engagement side, and that's what I'm involved in a lot. So we have 3 what we call authorized gaming operators right now. Penn National, WinBet, and BetMGM. And a big part of that right now is obviously growing that list of operators to work with in terms of, seeing which operators view NASCAR as a sport that can help them acquire customers and grow their brand. But also for us, looking at what operators have good partnerships in terms of the states that are looking to legalize in, as market access becomes more and more of a league and team proposition than a casino proposition with the trend going on right now. That's a huge part of my day-to-day is on the legislation side, following that and seeing where opportunities exist on the market access front for NASCAR to get involved in. And there's a ton more on the day-to-day side, but I guess I'll just stop there for now and before I get too long-winded on that.
One of the great things about the advent of sports betting in this country is that it's creating a brand new workforce. I know colleges and universities are now offering curriculum because young people are so interested in getting into the field of sports betting. What led you to be the head of sports betting for NASCAR, which I'm sure isn't a position that didn't even exist a couple of years ago?
No, that's a great question. I appreciate you asking it. I always tell people that I really kind of fell backwards into the world of sports betting. My background prior to being in this industry was military and law enforcement. So it's about as far as you could get from sports betting or the world of sport. But I had the opportunity to live overseas in Germany. And while I was living over there, this was about 2015, 2016, and I saw how mature and culturally normal it was to bet on sports in Europe, and even the places I traveled outside of Europe as well. And that was around the same time when sports betting, the conversation looked like it was accelerating in terms of legalization in the U.S. And I thought, hey, while I'm overseas in Germany, it's probably a good idea for me to get involved with this industry so that when I do move back over to the U.S., maybe it's something that is a good fit for me. So I worked on the data side overseas for 2.5 years. And that's exactly what happened in 2018 when I moved back to the U.S. Legalization happened right around the same time. And I stayed on the data side in the U.S., selling data to operators as the market was legalizing. And being in that position with Sportradar, the data supplier that I worked for 5.5 years, I saw how much not only leagues, but financial institutions, consulting firms, accounting firms were looking and not even looking, but realized that they needed to build some sort of vertical for sports betting because it was bleeding so much into their organizations. And I really wanted to kind of be the person who was in charge of that at a league or an organization that was involved in sports betting, using my overseas and domestic expertise. So this opportunity at NASCAR came about late at the end of 2020, and I jumped all over it. I mean, there's only so many major leagues in the U.S., and there's only one of these positions at each of those leagues. So I jumped in full speed on that, and luckily NASCAR selected me to take this role, and it's been an amazing 3.5 months that I haven't looked back. I really enjoy the culture here, and I love the family, the family structure of NASCAR and kind of how it trickles down to all levels of the organization.
You came from Sport Radar, which is an amazing place to watch the evolution of sports betting. I mean, generally speaking, what has sports betting done for all sports? I mean, people who listen to this show know that I'm fascinated by the fact that people in Colorado bet large amounts of money on table tennis. I don't get it, but if people win betting at table tennis, good for them. How has sports betting been good for the popularity of sports across the board?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think it has, and there's a time and place for each of these sports. I mean, if you look at the popularity of table tennis and the betting on it, It really was a result of COVID. With U.S. major sports shutting down in March, April last year, you saw that spike. There was articles in the New York Times about betting on Ukrainian table tennis, and that really is a function of not only it was the only live content available, but it also is a very segmented sport where the matches are very short. You could place a bet and get a pretty quick return if you do win. And you can kind of go on to the next thing. And you could also live stream it, which is also a hugely helpful tool in terms of engagement and getting people to watch sports when they're really deprived of it in an age of COVID. But even as we're talking kind of outside of the age of COVID, for sure. I mean, when I was living in Europe, there were people at third division German or Czech soccer games, and a huge part of that, you looked at the sponsors there. People were sponsoring, or betting companies were sponsoring, these kind of third division teams, which would be akin to a betting sponsor in the U.S. sponsoring a single A team or something like that, which we probably won't see for a few different reasons. But it really did allow for engagement in kind of lower leagues because there was so much volume of sports. And like I said, there was a time and season for everything. So even when, soccer ended at the end of June, July and August was an opportunity for some of the other sports, even esports, to really pick up in terms of betting volume. So I think it has been a boon for all sports involved, and that's how we look at it for NASCAR as well.
Well, what attracted you to the position at NASCAR? What did you see in NASCAR that made it a perfect fit for sports betting?
Yeah, for me, for sure, it was kind of the, I would say, aggressive nature in which NASCAR has approached sports betting relative to some of the other leagues. I think I have an opportunity at NASCAR to have a platform like on the show with you, Dave, where I can talk about what we're doing in the sport and really not be coded about it at all. Mm-hmm. I'm happy to talk about kind of how we're embracing sports betting as a vehicle to grow the sport, promoting our partnerships in terms of what we've done in the sport to help use it as a tool, not for a revenue tool, but more so, like I said in the beginning of this call, is for a fan engagement tool. And NASCAR has given me the latitude to kind of go out there and be aggressive about how we approach partnerships, how we talk about it, how we educate fans on what is betting on NASCAR, understanding how important that part is, and being aggressive about just the whole U.S. landscape of getting involved in the conversation of how NASCAR gets involved in state-by-state legislation, even in the states that have tracks that we don't own.
Now, you mentioned fan engagement, and that's one of the reasons why all the sport leagues are really jumping on sports betting. What are the indications that sports betting is increasing fan engagement for NASCAR?
So we've seen it from the top of the funnel down in terms of fan engagement. So when we look at this kind of funnel of sports betting and how it's permeated all fan engagement, at the top of the funnel, I would say, is kind of the free-to-play side. And we have a free-to-play game on NASCAR.com in partnership with Penn National called Jackpot Races. And the engagement on that free-to-play game week over week has been quite strong. And since sports betting has been legalized, we've made so many improvements. And as our partnership with Penn has grown, we've really been allowed ourselves to make some more improvements on that, kind of connecting it to betting down the funnel. But kind of in between betting and the free-to-play side is fantasy as well, which I know that was a topic we were going to get to here. But NASCAR has had a strong fantasy product and is something that we actually revamped because of sports betting in 2018. So our Fantasy Live product is a season-long product, but we introduced a new feature where we have a driver in the garage. So wow. If you're watching a race and a driver crashes or is removed from the race or not in consideration, you can put that driver from your garage in the race. So it kind of allows fans to be engaged even if one of the drivers that they picked is no longer in contention, let's say. And then on the betting side, just year over year in terms of growth, and we look at the metric of handle or turnover. We have seen, especially since the Daytona 500 this year, a significant amount of growth in terms of the handle and turnover that's bet on NASCAR compared to even the Daytona 500 of 2020. And I think that is in large part because of the offering that we've put out there and our learnings from last year and the in-race product that our data partners at Genius have put together.
Well, I want to ask you, is NASCAR's fan base increasing because of sports betting also? Because I can tell you from personal experience, I'm watching more and more NASCAR now that I have some money riding on it. Are you seeing that you're attracting new fans to the sport through sports betting?
Well, anecdotally, Dave, through very similar, the comment you just made,
yeah.
I could say yes. I think there is, in terms of getting some solid numbers and metrics on that. Time will tell, and I think that this is a long play for us. I don't think that we're tracking month over month fans to NASCAR or ticket sales to NASCAR events because of sports betting quite yet, because it is still a very nascent and not fully mature product yet. We understand where NASCAR fits in the landscape of other sports in terms of the amount bet on it, right? It's probably about 1% of all bets is placed on NASCAR, and we're looking to grow that. But we're looking to do that with the other leagues as well. We understand we're not going to take away share from NFL, NBA, NHL, UFC, PGA, but what we're looking to do is grow the pie. And I think that we'll see over time kind of a direct correlation outside of just the anecdotal, feedback we get from fans about, hey, betting has gotten me to go to a race. But I think in terms of what we're doing to drive that this year is, I'll give a good example in Virginia. So our partners at WynnBET have created suites and kind of betting lounges at our Martinsville and Richmond raceways. So outside of the race, if you went into Martinsville or Richmond, you saw kind of an activation area for WynnBET. And if you signed up and registered for an account there, you could go into the race and access the suite. So it definitely has increased kind of awareness from our fans who are already going to races. And then we hope as betting matures, it will get people from the kind of place a bet to watch on TV to go to a race.
You touched on it before. I mean, in the gambling world nowadays, you're seeing big deals or big partnerships that professional leagues are doing with sportsbook operators and media companies. Like I said, you touched on it before, but what are some of the sportbook operators and media companies and data companies that NASCAR has done deals with regard to sports betting?
Yeah, so on the operator side, it's Penn National, it's BetMGM and Wynn.
Mm-hmm.
We've also done deals on the media side with companies like the Action Network. We've done deals with companies like IMG for streaming, so you can watch NASCAR races internationally. Betting operators can present NASCAR races internationally on live streaming platforms, which increases engagement for betting outside of the U.S. We have a virtual sports product as well via IMG and Leap. That we'll introduce probably in the next month or two, which will be really exciting for us and for me specifically, because I worked in the virtual sports world when I was overseas, so I know how powerful of a product that can be in a mature market. And on the integrity and responsible gaming side, I had talked about our partnerships with Sportradar and the American Gaming Association. But as we kind of look to future deals down the line, we're looking at more sort of content deals where we can get the NASCAR bet brand and the NASCAR betting content out on other media platforms as well, whether that's on shows or social media. There's just an endless amount of ways that we can get this out to our fans, for our fans who are interested in betting. And that's something that I think all leagues are cognizant of, is kind of creating a second screen experience, so we're not overwhelming our NASCAR fans with betting content,
mm-hmm.
where they may, where they may be NASCAR fans but not interested in betting. We're looking to target those who are interested in betting, at least present the opportunity. If they're not interested, that's completely fine, and we don't want to oversaturate them with all of that. But we are working on partnerships with other operators. We're working with legislators and states to get involved. Virginia was really big for us in terms of getting an activation with WynnBET at Martinsville and Richmond. And then the Arizona legislation was also huge for us, as it was for the other leagues in that state. And, we'll have the partnership there a 24/7, or potentially 24/7, 365 sports book, and a mobile sports book from that legislation.
In terms of deals, I know every professional league is different with very specific requirements for their sport. I mean, when there's a race, there's certainly NASCAR involved, but then there's the individual race teams, and then there's the racetracks that all probably have different endorsement deals. I'm curious, when it comes to these sportsbook deals or the data deals or the media deals, does NASCAR have certain requirements from their partners that other sport leagues may not have? I mean, can a race team have one sportsbook endorsement and NASCAR have a different sportsbook endorsement? How does that work, and what is NASCAR's policy with regard to that?
Yeah, it's a great question, Dave, and something that actually has come across my plate since I started in this role in March. And our firstly, it is a unique sport from others in terms of, and I'm learning this as I've been in this role for the last 3.5 months, is that the NASCAR as a sanctioning body is different in a lot of cases from our tracks and from our driving teams. So the driving teams are separate in terms of the sponsorship deals that they do, and kind of how they do their business is separate from NASCAR itself. And on the track side as well, there are over a dozen tracks that we own as NASCAR throughout the country, and then there are a handful plus of others that we don't own. So there's differences there on the track side that are nuanced, where we can do deals with operators in states and at tracks where we own. And then at tracks that we don't own, there are separate sponsorship deals that operators can do with those tracks that NASCAR really has kind of no say over. When it comes to the driving teams specifically, we've encouraged, and we knew that once sports betting became legalized, operators were going to be reaching out to the driving teams, or the racing teams, to do sponsorship deals. And that started to happen. BetMGM did a deal with Richard Childress Racing earlier this year. And then DraftKings just announced their deal with 2311 just a few weeks ago. So one of those is a partner of NASCAR, and one of those is not on the betting side. So we are allowing, and not even allowing, but we're encouraging our racing teams to do deals with betting operators that aren't authorized gaming operators of NASCAR. I think it behooves both sides to have a partnership across both sides. But that's, as the sanctioning body, we do approve or disapprove we have that kind of final say of who they do a sponsorship deal with. But as long as it's a legalized operational licensed sports book in the U.S., our racing teams are free to do those deals. And something that I viewed as very important in this role is to work closely with our racing teams to give our philosophy in terms of what the guidelines are in terms of utilizing those sponsorships.
Now, if you're going to bet on any activity, information is the key, and what NASCAR is doing on their website is just great. You actually have something called the Bet Center on NASCAR's website. When people go to the Bet Center on the NASCAR website, what can they see there?
Yeah, so our Bet Center has a lot of kind of unique integrations around betting specifically. So that's kind of where I said where Bet Center doesn't live on NASCAR.com for a few reasons, but one big reason of that is oversaturation, right? We don't want to just have a fan go to NASCAR.com and be inundated with betting content. So Bet Center is kind of an opt-in second option on our platform to go to for people interested specifically in betting. So you'll have information about an upcoming race or a previous race from the written content side, focused on the betting angle via some content partnerships we're doing. And you'll have, of course, odds integrations as well in terms of what the odds are looking like or what insights are on betting for upcoming races. And we have a bet slip integration in the states that are legal, where you could actually kind of deep link, if you are interested in placing a bet from the NASCAR.com Bet Center and NASCAR.com, you could deep link from our website to the operator's page, in this case BetMGM, to place a bet on their platform on the NASCAR driver or market that you're interested in.
By the way, you guys also have a fantasy toolkit, so you're not leaving the daily fantasy players out also either.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, fantasy, like I said earlier, is huge for us. It's kind of that funnel and that gateway to betting. And on the daily fantasy side, we have a fantasy partner, a daily fantasy partner in DraftKings, who has their own platform. And then we have our Fantasy Live platform as well, which we see it's one of our top performing sites on NASCAR.com. And, NASCAR is a little bit unique. I'd mentioned earlier, and I say it over and over again, but as I come to the league here and I realize how unique we are from other leagues, another aspect of that is how different we are kind of on the fantasy side as well, of people who, play season long, and engagement really remains the same from week one at Daytona to kind of the rest of the season.
Sports betting is new to a lot of people in this country, and a lot of people still think that you place a bet before the sporting event starts and that's it. But a big part of betting handle, and one of the most fun things about sports betting, is the live in-play betting. And for me, it seems like NASCAR is perfectly suited for live in-play betting. What is NASCAR doing to promote live in-play betting during the races?
Yeah, so there's our broadcast partners have a big say in that, with Fox and NBC, and they both have their own separate betting partners. So Fox with Fox Bet and NBC with PointsBet have their own kind of betting integrations, and it's I guess it's on the broadcaster and kind of how Fox Bet and NBC, or Fox and NBC, want to work with Fox Bet and PointsBet on those on-screen integrations in terms of promoting in-race betting. But what we've done as a sanctioning body in a league is, this year at Daytona 500 was the first race that we had in-race markets from our data provider, Genius Sports, in the marketplace. And as I said earlier, in terms of engagement and metrics that we see, the in-race markets has led to a ton of increased interest in betting on the sport, which is super valuable for us, but it also provides a lot of learning tools. So as we look at what markets are kind of the most important, or not most important, but most popular to bet on, the in-race markets are very new. So we have an offering, I think, of over 20 plus in-race markets right now, and we're trying to see which ones maybe we haven't thought of yet that are valuable to integrate. And I think there's a combination of our broadcast partners, our data partner, our operator partners as well, who provide insight to us on how to do that. But for certain, like you said, there's ways that we promote it as a sanctioning body, and there's also ways that the broadcast partners promote it as well. And as we look to the second half of this season with NBC, and for next year as well with the next gen car, there might be ways to have a second screen or third screen opt-in for betting, whether it's on your phone or on social media, that'll focus more on betting around a specific driver, even focusing on that driver's markets as the race is live.
A big issue in the gambling industry right now is responsible gambling, and NASCAR is doing something great with the American Gaming Association in a media campaign called Have a Game Plan, Bet Responsibly. Can you tell us what that program is all about and what you're doing with the American Gaming Association with regard to responsible gambling?
Yeah, absolutely. So, one of the first phone calls I took when I started in this role was with Casey and his team at the American Gaming Association, and right away we established a cadence of meetings and of times to connect. And I actually met up with him in DC recently, and we discussed kind of our strategic plan for the rest of this year. But they have a game plan program that AGA has created, and NASCAR has really worked with them on, has been of utmost importance to us. There's a ton of, we talked about the Bet Center earlier. Yep. If you go on our Bet Center, there's activations for the Responsible Gaming Initiative with AGA on that site. And also we encourage our operators to kind of do the same with the American Gaming Association. And you're seeing now some of the partnerships that are launching with AGA. And I think as we continue throughout the year, and the week that Responsible Gaming Education Week that's coming up in September here, there's going to be a lot of activations between NASCAR specifically and the AGA around that week, in terms of maybe an event at our track or at a casino or at a race in September in Vegas, where we can really do more of a consumer-focused event as opposed to a business-focused event, where we educate our fans not only on what's available, but also, how to do this responsibly, the opt-out self-exclusion policies are, and really how to scale this out from state to state as geo restrictions and geofencing could become problematic as you go state over state, and self-exclusions may not apply.
I just interviewed the president of the AGA, Bill Miller, and a couple of weeks ago, as I said, I interviewed Scott Warfield from the PGA Tour, who was also involved in the Have a Game Plan program. Why did you feel that it was important for NASCAR also to join in a responsible gambling program like this?
Well, I would have, if I was here, I definitely would have done the same as Scott in terms of getting involved with that program. But in terms of getting involved with it and the conversations, that was well before my time frame. So all due credit to Scott in terms of getting NASCAR involved with American Gaming Association as early as he did. But in terms of actually continuing that relationship and strengthening it, I view that again as a top priority, because I've seen, working overseas and domestically, how differently the legalization of sports betting kind of can change behavior or impact culture just generally, right? And not to say that this all wasn't going on before. And I think that's one of the big reasons that legislation happened, was this was happening already. It just was happening in an underground market in the U.S. So having it kind of above ground and above kind of the bar where people can monitor it and see it and have these kinds of self-exclusion programs is really important. And in terms of why we would do a deal like that, or why it's important to someone like NASCAR, I think it's for those reasons. We want our fans to feel like this is a safe and fun way to engage with the sport, and not something that is in any way sort of harming or damaging. We really believe that this is a fun and safe way to engage with the sport, and the American Gaming Association helps us with their expertise in terms of how we push that message to our fans. Now that this is a legalized product in over 20 states.
Lots of people had a difficult year last year, and now they're finally starting to come back to races as this country opens back up. What can fans expect from NASCAR in the coming year, and what can sports bettors expect from NASCAR as we move forward?
Yeah, so I think you'll see, over the next year and even the rest of the season, you'll see a lot more kind of activation and sweepstakes and promotions from our authorized gaming operators around the rest of the season, culminating in some like end of season experiences as our tracks are opening up to full capacity. Especially our authorized gaming operator partners who may have a deal with a racing team, some cross collaboration there in terms of sweepstakes that utilize NASCAR assets throughout the season that culminate in a kind of money can't buy driver VIP experience for the customers of those sportsbook operators. And I think you'll see an improvement in terms of the markets that are offered and the performance of those markets as the year goes on. With a new product and with a sport that traders are new to trading from the operator side, I think there are kind of a lot of lessons learned that we've learned over the first half of the season that I know that our data supplier is working on for the second half. So in terms of suspension times or down times, I think you'll see a sharp decrease in those. And then I think you'll also see a lot more content pushed out from the sports betting content side on the media side. Whether it's with the Action Network or with other media partners that we are in conversations with. And then from a digital perspective, I think you'll see NASCAR focused content more at our tracks, whether that's signage, digital signage, betting focused digital signage, and then even at kind of retail chains and restaurants. I think you'll also see opportunities where NASCAR will have maybe a branded screen focused on betting at sports bars and locations like that. Wow.
Joe, we're running out of time, but can you give out your website where people can follow what's going on with NASCAR?
Absolutely. So it's our website, and again, talking to the uniqueness of NASCAR generally, NASCAR.com is the place to go. So as opposed to kind of other sports where you might go to ESPN or other sites for your news rather than the league's website, our our fans are loyal and really derive all of their news and updates from the NASCAR.com website. So from there, you could get to our Bet Center, you can get to our Fantasy Live, you can get to information and news on kind of what's happening in the sport. But that's what I would recommend.
Joseph Solosky, Managing Director of Sports Betting for NASCAR. Thank you so much for coming on and telling us all the incredible things NASCAR is doing for its fans. I'm having a blast not only watching the races, but also betting on them. So please come back on and keep us updated about what's going on with NASCAR. Thanks a lot, Joe, for coming on.
Will do, Dave. Thanks for having me, and great to have you as a fan.
Stick around. We'll be right back with more Turnpike Sports.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Attention Medicare recipients and anyone turning 65. Medicare has approved new benefits not included with original Medicare and older Medicare Advantage plans. You may not be getting all of the benefits you're entitled to, including in-home aids, telephone appointments with your doctors, home-delivered meals and prescriptions. These benefits may be available and it's a free call to enroll. The new plans may also offer free eyeglasses, free hearing aids, free wellness visits, and gym memberships. Call the Medicare benefits line now. It's easy. Call 800-217-1797. 800-217-1797. Find out if you're eligible for new benefits like meal and prescription delivery, in-home aids, and telemedicine. Some plans may have a $0 monthly premium or zero copays for big out-of-pocket savings. Not all Medicare Advantage plans are alike. The new plans have more benefits for many people. Call 800-217-1797. 800-217-1797. 800-217-1797.
With some of the best promotions and offers in the sports betting market, PointsBet simply stands out. PointsBet is the only U.S. online bookmaker to offer points betting, where every yard, every point, every goal, even every play matters. Same-game parlays, good karma payouts, early payouts, and exclusive game day promotions and guarantees for all sports. PointsBet offers more bet types than any other bookmaker in the world, offering a unique set of markets that aren't available anywhere else. And now PointsBet is offering one of the best sign-up offers in the sports betting market today. New customers signing up with code BET21 receive 2 risk-free bets up to $2,000. Get up to $500 back if your first fixed odds bet loses, and up to $1,500 if your first points betting bet loses. That's code BET21 for 2 risk-free bets up to $2,000 at PointsBet. PointsBet, it pays to be fast. Must be 21 years or older and in New Jersey to place a bet. Terms and conditions apply. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Are you paying too much for your health insurance? Are your deductibles too high? Or are you completely uninsured? If you answered yes to any of these questions, Healthcare Help Desk can help you now when people need help the most. Health insurance laws and rules have changed. If you have Obamacare, are uninsured, or your premiums are too high, call Healthcare Help Desk. It's free. New healthcare plans are available, and you may qualify for dental coverage and lower copays and deductibles. Make the free call now. Top quality coverage at the lowest prices anywhere. You may be paying too much and not even know it. In these troubled times, healthcare is more important than ever. Don't let another day go by without health insurance. Policies are being offered with very low copays and deductibles. So if you're uninsured, underinsured, or paying too much, call Healthcare Help Desk. 800-329-7906. 800-329-7906. 800-329-7906.
Be in the House is brought to you by BetMGM Casino. Play your favorite casino games at BetMGM Online Casino. Slots, table games, live dealer games, everything you love about Atlantic City and Vegas, all online at BetMGM. Don't wait. Join in the fun now. Go to BetMGM Casino, create an account using our promo code Turnpike, and become a verified player. New players get $25 free when signing up, plus a first deposit bonus up to $1,000. That's promo code Turnpike at BetMGM.com for a 100% deposit match up to $1,000 plus $25 free. Grab a lion's share of the fun at BetMGM.com. Must be 21 years or older to place a bet. Terms and conditions apply. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
All right, brand new segment.
Yeah, no, that was my very first read. My inaugural,
and it was very, very well done.
My
very
inaugural
well
read of Bet in the House.
Well,
I feel so honored.
Well, this is a brand new segment. Usually in this spot we have a by the numbers. That'll be returning to at some point. But we wanted to try out this new segment called Beating the House, where we celebrate the men and women who have defied the odds and won a jackpot or two at casinos, whether it's online or brick and mortar.
Yep.
Mostly brick and mortar we're going to be talking about in this first installment. We're going to start off with a Caesars Reward member who won a jackpot of $317,257 at Harrah's Lake Tahoe.
Okay.
She won it playing the Blazing Sevens Progressive Jackpot slot.
I don't think I've ever played that one.
It's kind of a long-standing slot machine game in a lot of the casinos.
Really?
Yeah, it's always in some area.
I'm writing that down. I want to check to see if it's online too. So Blazing Sevens.
I'm trying to remember if it's one of the old-fashioned real games.
I love those things,
versus the digital stuff that's out there now. But she won $317,000 after playing for 2 hours, and she was caught by surprise, according to the casino. When she was asked about the jackpot, their first thought was, "Is this for real?"
That's great.
So she got caught off guard, but she won a nice-sized jackpot after playing 2 hours.
And she put in the time, too. I'm sure we're going to have some stories where people put in 1 quarter and it pops up, or they played 5 minutes. But she actually put in the time for 2 hours. Good for her.
Next ones, we're going off strip here. And we're going to go not on a slot machine, but the Pai Gow Progressives.
All right.
Las Vegas woman has won more than $85,000 on the Pai Gow Progressive Jackpot at the Orleans, a board gaming property.
Oh, okay.
She got a 7-card straight flush and won a jackpot of $85,258. She also placed a side bet. It's called a Fortune Bonus Side Bet. That won her an additional $1,000, so about $86,000.
Wow. I like the $1,000 cherry on top kind of thing.
This is the 3rd progressive jackpot hit at this property.
Wow. Okay.
At Boyd Properties. Hey,
good for Boyd.
Yeah.
A lot of winners are going to Boyd, huh?
On June 13th at the Aliante Casino.
Okay.
7-card straight flush in clubs, winning $92,000, almost $93,000. And he had a Fortune Bonus side bet that won him an extra $21,000.
See, that's great. I don't think I'm a savvy enough bettor to even think about having a side bet kind of thing.
I've never played Pai Gow poker in my life.
Okay, well.
So I wouldn't even know what
Well, you see it a lot. It's a very popular game because, you walk into a casino, you see those tables, they're always packed in and they're crowded. So, obviously they're crowded because you win a lot in Pai Gow poker.
And 10 days earlier, on June 3rd, another local from Las Vegas at the Orleans.
Another Orleans, okay.
Won the Pai Gow Poker Progressive Jackpot for $160,873. There was no bonus side bet for that one.
Oh, okay.
So, and after all these wins, every time there's a winning Pai Gow Poker Progressive Jackpot 1, they reset it to $75,000. So it always starts at $75,000.
Okay.
Which is a good chunk of change.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Let's go over to Colorado. For the next jackpot. And I have to admit, I have never seen this slot machine that we're going to talk about here. Colorado Springs person won $568,000 after playing the Hobbit slot machine.
I have not seen the Hobbit either.
I have never heard of the Hobbit slot machine.
I would play that, though, if I saw that.
This was done at...
Is this a new slot machine, the Hobbit?
I don't know. Like I said, I've never heard of it before until we're going to do this story.
I've played the Leprechaun machine. So I love the Leprechaun.
Well, first of all, you're insulting all Lord of the Rings fans because the Hobbit is not a leprechaun.
I'm mixing in Hobbit and Leprechaun.
Yes, you're mixing Hobbits and Leprechauns.
Well,
I would not do that. That's apples and oranges.
It's part of my wee folk kind of theme of slot machines. But no, I have not seen the Hobbit.
Well, this was done at the Wildwood Casino in Cripple Creek. By the way, Cripple Creek is a beautiful town. It's all casinos basically now.
Great.
That's where the biggest biggest amount of casinos in Colorado are. Let's see. The last time a big jackpot happened at the Wildwood Casino was in November of 2017 when 2 slot machine jackpots hit.
Okay.
The first was won by a woman named Rebecca. That's all she gave. She was a local from Colorado Springs. $805,000 jackpot. This is in 2017.
Wow.
That's the record.
You know, I'm writing down all these slot names, by the way. So, because I'm going to look for it. What was the first one, the first story you
Blazing
had?
Sevens.
Blazing Sevens. And now I have The Hobbit. So, certainly I'm going to check these out.
And the second largest, the second big jackpot in 2017 happened, let's see, same month, 52-year-old local won $501,000 on Thanksgiving Day. So that's kind of I've never heard of The Hobbit, and I have to go look it up.
Yeah, no,
I don't even know who makes The Hobbit.
I can take a look.
Well, yeah. Go ahead. We'll move on to the next jackpot.
Move on.
Wisconsin. In the Ho-Chunk Gaming Madison property. Let's see. The Dancing Drums Explosion game.
There's another one. Yeah, wow, that's another one. And by the way, it's SG Gaming.
SG Games.
Scientific Games.
Okay.
Yeah.
But over in Wisconsin, more than $1 million playing the Dancing Drums Explosion game. That came on a $10 bet. Now, that's a nice return on your money for $10.
Sure.
This is less than a week later after another guest won $1.3 million on the same machine after putting in a $3 bet.
Okay, well, you're talking the same machine.
Not the same physical machine, but the same brand of machine.
Okay, same brand of machine. Okay.
The Dancing Drums Explosion game. I should say same game. How's that?
Okay.
I don't know how to refer to a slot machine anymore because it's either the same slot or the same game, but it's not the exact identical game.
Yeah. Another Dancing Drums Explosion game.
Exactly.
I got to tell you, I like this segment because I'm learning more about what slot machines are out there and what games are out there. So I'm adding that to the list I'm going to look up.
And the last time at this property, Ho-Chunk Gaming in Madison, the last time a $1 million win was paid out on slot machines was in 2015.
Okay.
So 6 years has passed since they were paying out $1 million jackpots on slots at that casino. And let's go over to a bad beat jackpot.
All right.
For the last one of the week here in this new segment. We'll have more as we go along. But the station's casinos Jumbo Hold'em Poker Bad Beat Progressive hit.
All right.
Red Rock Casino. This is that specific property. 4 8s fell to an 8 high straight flush.
Wow.
So you can understand why that would be a bad beat.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
The winning hand, which was the 8 high straight flush, won $43,000.
Okay.
The losing hand, the 4 8s, won $76,000.
Wow. Great.
Everybody at the table won $1,300 each. And Station Casinos has a very unique bad beat jackpots set up. Everybody playing at that time in the poker room wins money.
Great. That's great.
So everyone playing at that time in the Red Rock Casino poker room, they won $557 each.
That's great.
So
like
everybody partook in winning some money by this bad beat jackpot. That's a nice thing, nice feature.
Absolutely. You know, there are some online casino sites that have a community treasure chest. When someone hits a big jackpot, if you're playing at that same time, you get a little money too in your account. So I love things like that. That's
I know
great.
Like Virgin and Trop online have what they call share pots.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what this, I guess, would be similar to. I don't know, too many other places that do this. I'm assuming they have to. Because it can't be that unique a feature for stations to be the only ones offering it. And we'll check into that as we go along with this segment kind of thing. And going off the winning bets and winning jackpots here, I just want to make note because we can talk about this in the book report too, but I just wanted to talk about it here. Mattress Mac is at it again.
Yes, he is.
Because this would be an actual
he's
jackpot.
He's fun to follow, and with like you said, if he wins this one, he's in the record books. I think
he's making history with a $2 million bet on the Astros to win the World Series. $2 million at 10-1 with Caesar Sportsbook by William Hill in Indiana.
Yep.
It would get a $20 million payout and would be one of the largest wins, if not the largest wins in U.S. sports betting history.
Yeah.
But he wasn't done. He did not only did he do the $2 million bet there in Indiana, he went over to FanDuel in Indiana and put another $1 million on the Astros.
Okay.
And then he went over to Colorado and went to the Score and put $100,000 on the Astros to win. Now, I'm assuming it was just $100,000 because that was the limit.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
But it'll be interesting to see exactly what he wins out of this, if he wins at all. The Astros have been playing very well again lately. So it'll be fun to watch to see exactly if he puts even more money as the season goes on after the All-Star break here. But that's the end of this brand new segment called Beating the House. Again, we're going to take a look at the people who have won jackpots at the casinos, whether it's an online jackpot, whether it's a brick-and-mortar jackpot, slots, poker, pie gow, obviously, and any other game we see that's a huge amount of money that's being given to the person who beat the house.
Stick around. The book report's next. So come back. More Turnpike Sports right after this.
Attention Medicare recipients and anyone turning 65. Medicare has approved new benefits not included with original Medicare and older Medicare Advantage plans. You may not be getting all of the benefits you're entitled to, including in-home aids, telephone appointments with your doctors, home-delivered meals and prescriptions. These benefits may be available and it's a free call to enroll. The new plans may also offer free eyeglasses, free hearing aids, free wellness visits, and gym memberships. Call the Medicare benefits line now. It's easy. Call 800-217-1797. 800-217-1797. Find out if you're eligible for new benefits like meal and prescription delivery, in-home aids, and telemedicine. Some plans may have a $0 monthly premium or zero copays for big out-of-pocket savings. Not all Medicare Advantage plans are alike. The new plans have more benefits for many people. Call 800-217-1797. 800-217-1797. 800-217-1797.
Unlock your best self with the Life Hack Pack from More Labs. Use promo code Radio15 at morelabs.com to get 15% off your first purchase of the Life Hack Pack or any of their other great products. That's promo code Radio15 to take advantage of this great promo of 15% off your first purchase at morelabs.com. The Life Hack Pack from More Labs. Drink smart with morning recovery, sleep easy with Dreamwell, and get more done with Liquid Focus. You can finally do it all with help from More Labs.
Is your bathroom looking old and worn out? Want to update it, but you don't know where to start? Then let BCI Bath & Shower show you how to turn that old bath into an aisle of beauty and functionality. Our residential bathroom solutions provide the best value on the market, and our customer service is second to none. Our cost-effective BCI Bath & Shower family of products has what you need.
Remodeling our bathroom was a big decision for us.
They didn't make a mess out of our house at all. And at the end of the day, we had a beautiful new bathroom. And it was a great experience the whole way through.
We have the best monthly payment programs in the industry, with payments as low as $68 per month or no interest, no payments for 18 months. That's right. Get the bathroom of your dreams now and pay for it in 2021. Call 1-800-462-5722 for a free no-obligation price quote. That's 1-800-462-5722. When you want quality bathroom products at a great price, it's got to be BCI Bath & Shower. That's 1-800-462-5722.
Turnpike Sports Book Report.
The Turnpike Sports Book Report is brought to you by BorgataSports.com. Your favorite casino is now your favorite sportsbook. Available anywhere in New Jersey, BorgataSports.com. Sign up at BorgataSports.com using our promo code PIKE, that's P-I-K-E. Make your first wager of $20 or more and you'll get $100 in free bets. That's $100 in free bets when your first wager on Borgata Sports is $20 or more. Get into the action with BorgataSports.com. Must be 21 years or older and in New Jersey to place a bet. Terms and conditions apply. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
And welcome to another edition of the Book Report, where we're going to talk about what's happening in the sports books around the country and also in some cases internationally as well this week. We've got a bunch of interesting news topics here. We got a new state. We got a new country joining the sports betting community. We have a brand new brand becoming a sports betting entity, as well as Bally's continuing their expansion and a sports book launching for the first time out of Nevada. We're going to start off with welcoming Louisiana as the 30th state in this country to legalize sports betting.
Yeah, that was a long time coming. I was waiting for Louisiana, and they finally did it. They pulled the trigger.
Well, they had passed it during the November elections.
Yep.
And just last week, Governor John Bell Edwards signed the bills into law. So they're hoping to have everything up and running by the start of the NFL season.
Which is, what, 2 months?
September 9th, something like that, is the first day that that's usually the target. They're hoping to have it up and running. A lot of states have
That's
also
actually
said
pretty
that's
quick. Good for them.
Well,
yeah.
they've had this stuff in motion since the November election. The different bills set out the different tax rates, the licensing structures. They have everything all set to go. It's just a matter of moving ahead, just like Arizona. Arizona's moving quick, too.
Yep.
They just released some of their published rules. They're going to have some more going ahead, more public committee meetings, but they're shooting for the start of the NFL season, too. Canada. Canada is the brand new country in North America that has legalized sports betting.
Well, they had some form of legal sports betting. I think it was the parlay method, which was for a long time. Delaware had that, but now it's what are they calling it? The single
event sports betting.
Okay, single event sports betting.
It's Canadian Sports Betting Bill C-218 has made it all the way through the initial readings through their parliament, and now and also they don't have sports betting up and running yet. The bill allows the provinces to legalize sports betting. Now it's up to the provinces to get moving. From all indications, Ontario is expected to be the first province to be up and running by the start of the NFL season.
Okay.
The other two big provinces, British Columbia and Alberta, they're launching later than Ottawa, Ontario, and probably by early 2022. And what they're saying is by the end of 2022, around 64% of the population of Canada will have access to legal sports betting and also online gaming.
Great. Good for them.
So that's the other thing. I always found it interesting that with the casino industry up in Canada, I'm surprised they didn't have online gaming up until this bill.
Yeah, no, it should be interesting once they get online gaming, because the big thing, especially in the United States, especially with online poker, they have the shared player pools. I wonder if there could be an international agreement between Canada and the U.S. for online poker. It would be absolutely amazing if they did.
Well, it's going to be more interesting to see what Canada does internationally outside of North America, because online poker is still very popular overseas, more so than the United States. You know, we have that situation there where Black Friday happened and everybody was, deemed you couldn't do online poker for a while, and we're just starting to get back into the online poker industry in this country.
Yeah, well, the pandemic really boosted the numbers for online poker and online gaming in the U.S. I mean, living in New Jersey, we have we have online casinos, and we have online poker. And online poker, we have the multi-state compact where I play poker games against people in Nevada while sitting in New Jersey, which is great. The WSOP has that. WSOP.com. I play on. Yep.
Yes. So, it'll be interesting to see whether or not Canada does international first before they're able to do anything with the United States for online poker. I don't have too much hope that that'll happen very quickly with the United States, the way we approach online poker in this country. But again, welcome Louisiana, welcome Canada. I wish we could welcome even more, but it looks like Maine is a little, stuck in the mud right now. Maybe by the end of the month, something will happen with the legislation there, and it'll go to the governor's desk. But again, everyone's got to remember the Maine governor vetoed it at the last moment last year too, or 2 years ago, in 2019.
I'm fascinated what's happening in Maine. I'm fascinated what's happening in Ohio with sports betting. It just seems like they once you think progress is being made, and then the rug is pulled out from under you.
Well, again, it should have happened. I mean, every indication last week it should have happened, and at the last moment, they attached the sports betting to this Veterans ID bill in Ohio. This is Ohio, and everything should have worked out that way. I mean, it set up everything perfectly. And from what I'm reading, they didn't even bother discussing it. They're going to approach it later this month.
Well, we'll see what happens. Like I said, Maine and Ohio are very interesting states when it comes to progress of sports betting. So we'll see.
And don't forget about Florida. Florida's getting interesting. We had just had supposedly a ballot initiative that's being pushed by unknown groups, but it looks like FanDuel and DraftKings to have a sports betting amendment added to the Constitution so that it doesn't become exclusive property of the Seminoles down there.
All right, well, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, they're pushing another ballot amendment, signature drive, that sort of thing. Let's see. Going over into, I teased at the beginning, we had a brand new brand coming into the sports betting industry, and that is Sports Illustrated.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I really like Sports Illustrated. They actually have a gambling section. I love their analysis. I love their their articles, and it came as it was a surprise to hear you're talking about the deal with 888.
888 Holdings and
it looks like the
Authentic Brands Group, which owns Sports Illustrated.
So it looks like he's going to be sports betting, especially online sports betting.
So online sports betting
and iGaming. Yep. Right. It's not only sports betting, from what I understand.
They're going to be doing two platforms, one for online gaming, one for sports betting, with 888. 888 Holdings, I should say. That's the proper name of the company. And they are looking at launching the SI Sportsbook. And, before we get into that, SI has such a following. I think it's been reported their monthly users are around 30 million. So they have a built-in audience for that brand.
Absolutely.
For this book.
I'm one of their readers. So I'd be very interested in seeing what SI has in the offerings of sports betting and, iGaming too.
Well, they're going to be doing a couple different things with this. Not only the sports book, but they're also going to be launching a gambling-themed issue of the Sports Illustrated magazine in August.
Okay.
So it's going to be all gambling. This next issue or this upcoming issue.
I'll have to pick it up.
And also, you mentioned the website.
That's going to be like a collector's edition kind of thing.
Probably. But
For me, anyway,
you mentioned the website where you use their gambling section.
Yeah.
They're going to be doing more.
Good.
They're going to be launching enhanced and comprehensive coverage of the sports betting space, including in-depth analysis, tools, and widgets.
Okay.
So they're going to be going all in with the sports betting theme, even more than they have already.
Great. Hey, I read it every week, so it's great.
And they are planning for the SI Sportsbook. I don't know if they're going to. I guess it's going to be SI Sportsbook. It may not be Sports Illustrated Sportsbook. I don't know exactly how they're going to call it, but it's SI. I'm going to use SI Sportsbook. Their first state looks to be Colorado.
Okay. All right.
Seems Colorado is is like the shooting star here.
Me being in New Jersey, I hope they come to New Jersey pretty soon.
Well, they do plan have New Jersey, Indiana, and Iowa as the next states up for possible launches for the sportsbook.
Good.
So, but again, they're going to start out in Colorado, which leads me to Colorado and their sports betting numbers for May.
Oh, okay.
How's that for a segue?
I got to ask. I'm fascinated every time I look at Colorado. How did table tennis do?
Depends on how you read the stats.
Okay. Is it top 10?
It is.
Okay.
If you look at
it's
it in
usually
terms,
around 5 or 6.
See, Colorado reports the individual sports, and then they have the other category, the parlays category.
Okay.
Table tennis is set out separately. In a lot of states, table tennis is part of the other.
Okay.
But here in Colorado, table tennis was technically the 4th most bet on sport in terms of handle.
Wow.
They had...
Was something happening in table tennis last month that I don't know about?
They came in with $10.253 million in handle. $10.24 million of it was online.
And this is for
table tennis in Colorado for
table
May.
Tennis
this
in
is
Colorado.
just May.
Wow.
4.1% of the total handle. Overall, it came in 6 because if you factor in the other category, the parlay category, they had more. But that's like a bucket category. So depending on how you want to read it, but
wow, can you imagine doing a table tennis parlay? I don't.
People
wow.
do that.
Wow, I got to learn more about this sport.
Well, basketball was the top sport, just under 87 million and 85.8 million via online. Let me tell you something right now, before I forget. The total sports betting handle was just under 249 million. One of the few states that had an increase from April, by the way.
Okay.
99% of the total handle came from online.
See, that's interesting because I know everything is opening up. I would think, there'd be a little less online. People are getting out, getting back to the sports books and going to the sports books to eat and drink and watch the games. And I'm surprised 99% is still online.
Well, it's a matter of convenience.
Well, although as I do, even though if I go to a sports book, I still place my bets on my phone when I'm in the sports book. So instead of me getting up and going online, or if I win, I don't have to go back up and collect my money. It already goes into the account. So even if I'm attending or I'm in a sports book, I still place my bets online on my phone.
Well, also it's a factor of how close are these casinos to one another.
Yeah.
If you go down to Atlantic City, you could walk from casino to casino to casino to casino, they're next to each other on the boardwalk, except for Borgata, Golden Nugget, and Harris. Everyone else is on the boardwalk, and they all have sports books. Mm-hmm. But again, it's a matter of, if you're sitting in one casino in Cripple Creek, how close is the next casino to you? If you don't want to walk down the street or drive down the street, you just take your phone out and start betting online. I mean, it's a matter of convenience as well, too. And with Colorado reporting their handle numbers, 2021's national handle passed $19 billion. That is just an incredible number. And when you look at it from last year's perspective, and again, you got to factor in COVID with 2020 numbers. The national handle of all of last year was $21.5 billion.
Okay.
So we're almost touching the total handle of last year in half a year this year.
Yep.
Operator revenue has also cleared the $4 billion mark in the post-PASPA era after this half year was past here. So it's just kind of, growing and growing and growing.
Oh, absolutely. And then the numbers are going to be astronomical in the coming months and the next year. So.
And also the gaming firm Eilers and Krejcik, they released a report, and there was an interesting breakdown of leading sports betting operators.
Okay.
Flutter Entertainment, which is FanDuel, and I believe also at some point Fox Bet's also part of that too. Leading sports betting operator in 5 states: Illinois, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Virginia, and West Virginia. DraftKings, Indiana, Iowa, and New Hampshire, and that makes sense in New Hampshire. They're the only one in New Hampshire. And BetMGM is first in Michigan, Colorado, and Tennessee.
Okay.
The only place William Hill leads, well, actually it's Caesars Entertainment's William Hill, is Nevada.
Okay. Right.
Which still has the in-person requirement.
Okay.
So, at some point, William Hill is going to be Caesar Sports.
Wait, you have to explain that. The in-person requirement means if you sign up, if you start your registration for an online sports book in Nevada, you have to finish your registration at the physical sports book. So.
There's a bunch of different brands out there, but again, they all have the in-person requirement. But I was actually moving to having William Hill when Caesars finishes the acquisition of everything. They're going to be flipping over to Caesar Sports.
Okay.
There won't be a William Hill in the United States. It'll be Caesar Sports.
I find that hard to believe. Unbelievable. William Hill.
I'm assuming they're going to keep some sort of the brand alive in the United States. But
it's such a huge name in sports betting. I'm very curious to see how they're going to do the marketing.
Well, it'll be there. They've also said that they're going to try and sell the overseas assets of William Hill. I think 888 mentioned that they were interested in purchasing the William Hill assets, or Bet365, one of the other groups out there that are pretty big over in the UK and overseas.
We'll have to take a look at the stock exchanges for these acquisitions.
Well, hey, you also have some of the ETFs now, too.
Yep.
They've got to take a look at all the indexes. Staying in Colorado, we had the first Superbook Sportsbook retail launch outside Nevada in Colorado.
Wow.
They launched at the Lodge Casino in Blackhawk. That's the other big town for casinos. You have Cripple Creek and Blackhawk. It's their first retail location outside of Nevada, outside of Las Vegas, actually. 7,000 square foot sportsbook, 28 state-of-the-art television screens, 3 betting windows and kiosks located throughout the casino itself. And at the ribbon cutting, they had former Denver Bronco Mark Schlereth.
Oh, okay.
Do the first bet and the ribbon cutting.
All right.
So he bet on the Broncos.
I'm always curious. I love the openings of sports books because I want to see who they have make the first bet and the ribbon cutting. It's always a great time.
Well, again, it's I always like who they get as the local celebrities. I remember one of the ones in Atlantic City had Dr. J there for their opening. I think it was Borgata, wasn't it?
Borgata. I think Borgata had Dr. J. Yeah, the interesting thing was Ocean Resort. Remember that? They had Mark Wahlberg.
Yeah.
Because he has a Wahlburgers in
his
Ocean
burger
Resort.
chain. His burger chain,
yeah.
Yeah, so there's going to be more of those coming into the casinos. If you like Wahlburgers, I'm not a huge fan of the burgers themselves, but if you like them. 2 other interesting launches that happened. DraftKings. They launched DraftKings Social.
So is this a play money type of thing?
No, this is a community, like a Facebook community, incorporated into the sportsbook.
Oh, okay.
You can actually make friends, interact with certain people, share your bets with other people. They can share their bets with you.
Yeah, I notice BetMGM and also Borgata, when you make a bet on the online sportsbook, they have a button where you can share it to Twitter or share it to Facebook.
A lot of people are getting that, but this is a self-contained...
I've never done that, by the way.
This is a self-contained social community within DraftKings. They launched it for the fantasy site first, then they're going to do the sportsbook, and also the online casino.
Okay.
They do not have any plans to do a poker product, they said.
All right.
So I didn't even know DraftKings had any involvement with poker, to be honest with you.
Okay.
I didn't even know that.
No, I did not know that either.
So it was just nice to see it's becoming a little bit more social environment. You can share your bets, all that. So you can actually go back and forth with people with chats.
Great.
So that's one of the things that launched there. Entain. This I found very interesting. If you love virtual reality stuff, this is very interesting. Entain will be launching a virtual reality sports club entertainment experience. That's how they phrased it, for virtual reality.
Now, is this an in-person kind of thing?
This is sitting at home. You put on your Oculus Quest 2 headset.
Okay, all right.
It's free through the Oculus Quest 2 headset. They're offering it for free.
Those are those big headsets that you put on your face, right?
Yeah,
it's the virtual reality.
I always think when I see those headsets, and it's a horrible thing to think of, you see, I remember the old Flash Gordon movie, all the guys controlling the shield on Ming's Palace with the big glasses on their head, that sort of thing. I always think of Flash Gordon when I see that.
What a cryptic reference. Wow. Everyone's going to have to go back and look at the movie now.
I'm sorry, people, because it was not that great of a movie to begin with, but it was. It just makes me think of about that scene there. But
so you have these things on your face. You have the goggles. I don't know if you call them goggles, but you have the Oculus.
They call it a headset. They call it a
headset on, and you'll watch these virtual games. Right now, does that have something to do with betting, or can you actually do betting things?
Well, the hope is they're going to be able to do all that, because their initial statement, they're going to be able to have customers live stream football matches, build fantasy lineups, and play a range of different sports games while you're in this sports club virtually.
All right.
So if you're going to be able to build fantasy lineups, you're going to be able to do a parlay lineup or a betting lineup or something like that. But they're going to be doing that. They're going to also have music experiences inside this club. So it's going to be just like going to a sports bar, but virtually.
Okay, all right.
And this is through Verizon Media. They did a deal with them last year to do something like this. And now they're going to be rolling it out later on this year, sometime after August, from what I was reading about, what they're going to be doing there. So a new virtual experience is coming your way for sports fans, not only fantasy, but I would assume sports betting at some point, although they didn't directly mention it. Sport Radar launched a tech setup here, a product, first of its kind, called MBET, E-M-B-E-T.
MBET, okay.
It's a first-of-a-kind product that integrates real-time live sports betting content to an OTT streaming device.
Okay, all right. I have one of those, so I can check it out.
And it features live data, odds, insights, and advertising all in one spot. So this is for the B2B. This is an industry thing. You'll see the end product, but they've launched it for their business partners to incorporate into their OTT devices.
Okay, now I have Roku. If I wanted to check,
don't
this
ask me
out,
that specific question.
You don't know. Okay,
they just launched it.
Okay, so it's not. Sport Radar isn't going to have a channel. Sport Radar is going to have business partners where they're going to have Sport Radar,
right.
This MBET,
this is basically
into its programming. Okay.
This will basically function as a management tool.
Okay, all right.
Where you control everything, your odds feeds, your content feed, and your advertising feed all in one spot, which I think is an incredible development. It simplifies everything in terms of how you can go about creating live betting through an OTT stream. Mm-hmm. And I think you might see something like that with Fubo. When they go live with what they're planning on doing, they're trying to do the odds content and the live betting inside the one stream as well.
Yeah.
So
I notice Fubo TV has an OTT channel.
Yes. Yes. But it's they're beta testing the live betting through their trivia contests and
this
all that.
This is Fubo TV.
The Fubo, yeah.
Fubo TV.
Not Fubo. Fubo's the apparel.
I keep saying that. Fubo TV.
Yeah.
So that's what you're talking about. Okay.
Couple other pieces of legislation. We talked about the legalization of sports betting in Louisiana and Canada. We've got New Jersey. The Assembly passed the fixed odds bill for Monmouth Park horse racing. That's something.
It's about time. That was a long time going.
They've been pushing it. They got it through. It's going to go to the governor. By the time this airs, he may have even signed it, but they're hoping to have fixed odds betting in place for the Haskell coming up at Monmouth.
Which, for people who don't know, is a huge horse race in New Jersey. So.
One other little note from the New Jersey Senate. They voted 40-0 in favor of a bill requiring the harness racing tracks in the state, which is Meadowlands and Freehold.
Yes.
To continue to host races as a condition to maintaining their sports betting licenses. I guess they're afraid of them stopping racing altogether and becoming a sports book.
Well, look, sports betting in New Jersey was supposed to help the horse racing industry. So, it makes sense that, the Senate would want them to continue racing.
Well, they
keep
up
got
their
it. Schedule.
They got it. So they actually, have required the horse tracks to actually continue racing. So a couple of other deals to hit real quick here. Bally's has continued their expansion across the United States. They just did a multi-year arrangement with the Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Dodge City, Kansas.
Okay.
Boot Hill will be implementing the Ballybet app once sports betting is legalized in that state, if and when. Mm-hmm. That's another state that's a question mark. That deal gives them market access into their 14th state. They're in, besides Kansas now, Colorado, Delaware, Iowa, Indiana, Illinois, Kansas, Louisiana, Missouri, Mississippi, New Jersey, Nevada, Pennsylvania, Rhode Island, and Virginia. This is also their third state where they don't have a physical property.
Okay.
So there's no Bally's property in Kansas as we speak. Bet Rivers did a deal with Chicago Bears, NFL team. Mm-hmm. First deal for the Chicago Bears in the gaming space.
Okay.
Bet Rivers becomes the official sports book, and the land-based casino Rivers Casino in Chicago becomes the Bears' official casino partner.
Okay.
It's like I said, first exclusive deal for the Bears. I'm actually surprised it's their first one. Everybody else has been doing deals left and right, and I guess the Bears have been a little slow on this too.
Yeah, no, I'm surprised. But no, Bet Rivers is great and Bears are great, so it should be a good partnership.
And they're going to be Bet Rivers will also be the title partner of their free-to-play game, available on the Chicago Bears official app.
Okay.
So if you download the Bears app, you can actually play the free-to-play game.
Okay.
That's Bet Rivers branded.
One of those predictive games, right?
Yeah. I'm just surprised. Bet Rivers has done some really nice stuff. They did the Bet Rivers Lounge at PPG Paints Arena, which is the Penguins, the hockey team.
Pittsburgh
Penguins, the National Hockey League team. Also, Bet Rivers did the corporate partnership with the soccer franchise of the United Soccer League, the Indy 11. So they're getting really involved in the sports betting scene in terms of the actual league sports, too.
Great.
Unibet, and we just had Joe Solosky on the show talking about NASCAR. Speaking of NASCAR, Unibet did a deal with Stewart-Haas Racing.
Wow, great.
Kevin Harvick is going to be the main driver of a Unibet-sponsored car, as well as they're going to be the sponsor of the team as well, the Stewart-Haas Racing team.
You do these stories, and now I automatically now go to NASCAR to see who the sponsors are on the cars. So now I have to take a look for Unibet.
Well, that's kind of why they do these sponsors.
Yeah, no, that's why.
And the last deal for this week, Betway announced a partnership with Nordia Open, becoming the official betting partner for the event. This has the Nordia Open has been voted as tennis players' top 250 tournament of the year for the past 11 consecutive years. So it's the top ATP tournament.
Okay.
That Betway has sponsored. And Betway's been doing a lot of stuff.
The first time I saw Betway was a few months ago, and I was watching a New York Islanders hockey game, and I saw Betway on the boards, and I was like wondering, what is Betway? And now I haven't stopped hearing about them.
No, and you're going to hear more because they intend to be doing a lot more sponsorships, and it's a brand to watch.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't know what it was 4 or 5 months ago, but now
it's everywhere.
And now it's everywhere.
Well, that's it for this week's book report. Whatever we did not hit, and believe me, there is a lot of stuff we did not hit in the time allotted here. Just head on over to TurnpikeSportsRadio.com, click on the blog button, and you'll see a print version of the stories we talked about, as well as stories we did not hit in this segment, up on the blog after this episode of the book report publishes.
And that'll do it for us this week. We'll see you next time on the Turnpike.